Have you ever heard the phrase Free Palestine? I have a strong feeling you've heard it at least once in the past 2 years. But here is something you probably didn't know. Free Palestine actually started as a Jewish slogan. Jews used this slogan in the 1940s, then stopped using it, and later the Arabs stole it from the Jews. How is that even possible? Why did Jews use this slogan? Why did they stop? And who helped the Arabs turn Free Palestine into a weapon against Israel? Let's start from the beginning. Or even better, let's start with the evidence. Look at this poster from the 1940s. On top it says, Help Free Palestine. And at the bottom it says, Zionist Organization of America. Here is another one. For the Freedom of Palestine. Jews of America. Register as a member of the Zionist Organization of America, 55th Avenue in New York, or your local Zionist branch. Interesting, right? And one more. American League for a Free Palestine presents A Flag is Born. This isn't just a poster. This was a 1946 theater production starring none other than Marlon Brando. And look what it says at the top, Free Palestine. Naturally, the play was written by a passionate Zionist. Maybe these were just confused American posters? Not at all. Let's look at actual institutions that operated in British Mandatory Palestine. Do you like music? So do I. What many people don't know is that I'm actually a huge soul singer the world hasn't discovered yet. Anyway, in 1936, the Palestine Symphony Orchestra was founded. The man who created it was Bornislav Huberman. Not exactly an Arab name, right? Because he wasn't Arab, he was Jewish, and all the musicians in the Palestine Symphony Orchestra were Jews. What about the mandatory Palestine national football team, part of FIFA since 1929? Who founded it? Yosef Yekutieli, also Jewish, and all the players were Jews. Two more interesting examples. Look at this poster of Palestine Airways. Who founded that company? Pinchas Rothenberg, a Jew. He also founded the Palestine Electric Corporation, which today is the Israeli Electric Corporation, Chevrat Chashmal, and the newspaper Palestine Post, that was founded by Gershon Agron. Today it is known as the Jerusalem Post, an Israeli newspaper. Take a look at the flag of Palestine from a 1939 atlas. Doesn't look very Arab, does it? So what's going on here? Why did Jews use the word Palestine and why did they stop? To understand this, I want to show you this poster. On the top, in English, it says, Help him build Palestine. And underneath, in Yiddish, it says the same, but refers to Eretz Israel. And this, invest in Palestine, build the Jewish state. The reason Jews use the word Palestine is the same reason I'm speaking to you now in English. It would be much easier for me to speak Hebrew. In Hebrew, we read and write from the right side, and in English, you read and write from the wrong side. But because I want you to understand what I'm saying, I speak your language. Palestine is just the English name for this piece of land. The name Palestine was given to the land of Israel by the Romans after the Jews rebelled 1900 years ago. The Romans wanted to disconnect the Jewish people from their land, so they ethnically cleansed the Jews from Judea and rebranded the name to Palestine, after an ancient people mentioned in the Bible who disappeared 600 years before the Romans even arrived. European languages developed out of the Roman world, so the name Palestine passed into them as well. And when the British received the mandate from the League of Nations, the name they used was the Roman name, Palestine. It was a foreign name given to a piece of land by one colonial empire, Rome, and later used by another, Britain. The moment we, the Jews, liberated Palestine from colonial rule, We didn't need their foreign name anymore. We had our own. Actually, we had three: Hebrew, Jewish, and Israel. Even many Israelis don't know this, but until Ben Gurion declared independence, no one knew what the new country would officially be called. But the vital part for our story is that we already had a clear identity, one that tied us to this land for thousands of years. The Arabs lived here did not have a unique, separate identity. They were Arabs. The leader of the Arabs in the land of Israel from the 1920s to the 1950s was Amin al-Husseini. He spent World War II in Nazi Germany together with two other leaders of the Arab community here. Let's look at some of his quotes. Tell me if you find the word Palestinians anywhere. O son of Arabia, fight for your sacred rights. Slaughter the Jews wherever you find them. Their spilled blood pleases Allah, our history, and our religion. The Jews are the enemies of Islam. They are the enemies of the Arabs and the enemies of humanity. I am proud to see the Muslim youth under the banner of the Führer. Their loyalty to him is loyalty to Islam. The word Palestinians doesn't appear. And if you think these were just a few quotes, I challenge you. If you find a single quote from an Arab leader in the land of Israel from 1940, 45, 48, in which they refer to themselves as Palestinians and mean Arabs, I will delete my channel. Arabs saw themselves as Muslims. That was what mattered to them. And by the way, that was true 80 years ago, and it is true today. And in a minute, I will prove it. The slogan Free Palestine, as a Jewish anti-British slogan, was abandoned. We didn't need it anymore. The English colonial imperial name Palestine was not used until the 1960s, when the Arab movement adopted it as a national identity. Now, anyone can call themselves whatever they want. That's fine. I also, on days when I feel low, identify as a dolphin. But you can't invent history. Until the 1960s, there was no such thing as a Palestinian people, period. And maybe the best proof is that in Arabic, there is no P sound. Palestinians literally can't even pronounce the name of the countries they claim. It comes out as Palestine or Palestine. But how did the slogan Free Palestine become the most famous political slogan on the planet? I want to show you something I love, something that gives perspective. It is called the world map. There are around 200 conflicts worldwide involving countries, nations, and ethnic groups. None of them has a slogan as famous as Free Palestine. Now, just to get perspective, let's mark the area controlled by Jews in the world. And now let's mark the area controlled by Muslims. See the difference? And here is one more detail. The number of Arabs between the river and the sea, the area under Jewish control, has grown in the last 100 years by 10 times, the most successful genocide in history. Meanwhile, the number of Jews and Christians in the Muslim world has dropped by 90 to 99%. Africa is currently undergoing a violent wave of Islamization, but from there, you won't see any catchy slogans. So how did Free Palestine become an anti-Israel slogan? The answer might surprise you: the Soviet Union. The 1960s were the peak of the Cold War, and the USSR, which had a long history of anti-Zionism even before Israel existed, identified Israel as a key pressure point against the West. The KGB saw the newly invented Palestinians as a strategic asset in the Cold War. How do I know this? KGB agents who defected to the West described how the communists planned to use the Palestinian issue as a weapon against the West and as an enormous propaganda tool. There is also the Mitrokhin archives, a massive KGB archives that fell into Western hands. It shows the KGB didn't just support the PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization. They built it, trained it, armed it, funded, and even wrote its messaging. The Palestinians were the Kremlin's most important Middle Eastern asset in the Cold War. According to these documents, Mahmoud Abbas himself once worked for the KGB. Whether that's true or not, the picture is very clear. Anti-Israel propaganda campaigns like Zionism equal Nazism or Zionism is colonialism came straight out of the Kremlin's kitchen and were spread through the PLO. You don't even need the documents to see this. Think about it. Have you ever heard an American say, I love America, I believe in democracy, freedom, and human rights, and that is why I support the Palestinians? Never. It is always, always, I support the Palestinians, and this is why I hate America and burn its flag.
We need to burn down every capitalist and imperialist system that exists. We need to burn the US government, aka global terrorist organization, down to the fucking ground. So go ahead and keep burning the disgusting, bloodstained, genocidal, shitty United States flag that was created by slave owners. I could give two shits. But also make sure you're doing your part to dismantle all of the systems that make all of these atrocities in the world possible. Okay, thank you, and free Palestine.
All the American students and pro-Palestinian activists who think they are part of a liberation movement are actually part of an anti-Western hate movement led by the Muslim Brotherhood and the Soviet legacy. Free Palestine is not a slogan meant to free an oppressed people. It's a slogan meant to destabilize the West and unite the Muslim world around hatred of Israel instead of dealing with its own internal problems. If you stop this video right now and open Al Jazeera, Qatar's propaganda arm, part of the Muslim Brotherhood, the headline will be against Israel. They need the world to be obsessed with Israel and not with the real problems inside the Muslim world. Otherwise, someone in Morocco or Iran might suddenly say, hey, I don't have a problem with Israel thousands of kilometers away. My problem is that I live in a violent society that oppresses my rights. By the way, my next video is going to be about violence in Muslim society, in Muslim countries and in Europe. It's going to be a strong one, so please subscribe. But I want to end with something even more surprising than the fact that Free Palestine was originally a Jewish slogan that the Arabs stole and weaponized against Israel. The Palestinians today do not want to establish a free Palestinian state for a liberated Palestinian people. So what do they want? The dominant Arab movement is Hamas, even in the West Bank, or using the historical name, Judea and Samaria. Hamas is the leading movement. The only reason Mahmoud Abbas rules there is that all Arab countries aren't democratic. And what does Hamas want? They have a charter. The phrase Palestinian state for the Palestinian people doesn't appear there at all. What does appear? Islam 130 times. Because Hamas is part of the Muslim Brotherhood. It is not a national movement. It's a religious movement that wants to impose Islamic Sharia law on Palestine and then establish a global Islamic caliphate, starting in Palestine, then Spain, then Rome, then all of Europe and the United States. Not a Palestinian state. Don't believe me? Read their own documents. Free Palestine is a Jewish slogan that the Arab took and now use against the West. Because if they told the truth that they are an Islamist movement trying to impose Sharia on the world, that would go down less smoothly in the West. Although seeing young Americans admiring bin Laden, who knows anymore? That's it for today. I think what I shared is important and interesting, but more important than just knowing the past is doing good now and supporting worthy cause. I've mentioned Meir Panim before, and I will do it again. I've been donating to them for a long time, and I want to invite you to donate as well. Meir Panim works in many areas, helping the needy, Holocaust survivors, soldiers, evacuees. Even though the war is officially over, many people still can't return home for many reasons. Meir Panim also organizes special activities for Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a holiday of light, of the victory of the few over the many. And only together can we win the enormous battle being waged against the Jewish people. Meir Panim is a recognized charity in Israel and the US, so donations are tax deductible. The donation link is here below. Please share this video, subscribe, and write a comment to boost exposure. See you in the next one. Yalla bye.